Caseworkers are stretched thin, balancing high caseloads and endless paperwork. But with SpeakRight, documentation doesn't have to mean burnout. SpeakRight's Protective Services transcription cuts paperwork time dramatically, so you can meet deadlines, reduce overtime, and focus on what truly matters, the families you serve. With SpeakRight's free mobile app and desktop platform, caseworkers can capture detailed narratives anytime, anywhere, with just one tap to upload. SpeakRight is proven to lower stress and turnover, helping agencies retain dedicated staff while improving case quality. Don't let documentation slow you down. Let SpeakRight do the heavy lifting. Visit speakright.com/imprint to see how SpeakRight can transform your agency today. That's SpeakRight, SpeakWrite.com/imprint.
Hello and welcome to the Imprint Weekly Podcast. I'm John Kelly, Senior Editor of the Imprint, a daily news site covering child welfare and youth justice around the country. You can read all of our coverage at imprintnews.org or check us out on Facebook or Twitter at the Imprint News. You can sign up on our homepage for our free weekly and monthly newsletters. And for professionals in child welfare and youth justice, subscribe to our Youth Services Insider section for a closer look at news on business policy and practice. The Imprint Weekly Podcast is also a member of the SafeCamp Audio Network. You can check out our show page and all of SafeCamp's other great podcasts at safecampaudio.org on the web, at SafeCamp Audio on social media. On this week's episode, Brandon Nichols, Director of the Los Angeles County Department of Children and Family Services, and Victor Dominguez, who is the CEO of the YMCA of Metropolitan Los Angeles, join us to talk about a new partnership forged between their two organizations that will guarantee a YMCA membership and everything that comes with it to older youth in foster care and also well beyond their years in the system. I will admit a little bias going in here, as I think I mentioned in the discussion, I'm a longtime member of the Y. First when I lived in Washington, D.C., now at the Bowl YMCA in downtown Detroit, which is really one of the best in the country. So I thought it would be cool for listeners to hear how this all came together and works, because I read the announcement about it and thought, why wouldn't this be the case almost anywhere? Because there's child welfare agencies and Ys everywhere in this country, pretty much. Since I had the leader of the largest local child welfare system in the country on, along with the CEO of a major nonprofit, I also asked them a little bit about just how everything going on in Washington, and by that I mean DOGE, budget talks, immigration policies, is impacting things for them at the local level. So without further ado, here is our conversation with Brandon Nichols and Victor Dominguez. We are joined today by Brandon Nichols, Director of the Los Angeles County Department of Children and Family Services, and Victor Dominguez, CEO of the YMCA of Metropolitan Los Angeles, who recently announced a very cool partnership whereby every foster youth in LA can become a member of any of Los Angeles' 28 YMCAs. Guys, thanks for jumping on the Imprint Weekly Podcast to talk about it. How you guys doing?
Doing all right. Thank you for having me.
Doing great. Thank you, John, for having us.
Brandon, are we coming up on like 3 years for you at LADCF Fest? That's a lifetime for a child welfare director.
Yeah, you've been paying attention. My third year anniversary as director is July 1st. So we're closing in on it. I feel fortunate to be here. I really do.
Very cool. Well, before we get into the weighty issues of the day, house rules on this podcast, you got to give the folks a favorite in our pop culture categories. I'll give you all those categories again. You just got to give me one: movie or TV show, musical group, book, or sports team. Victor, I'm going to call you out first. What do you got for the people?
Great. Well, I'm a big time sports fanatic, so I'll start locally here in LA, being an LA kid. Lakers, baseball, of course, our World Series champion Dodgers. But when it comes to football, I also love California, in which now we're the fourth largest economy. I'm a San Francisco 49er.
Interesting mix. Brandon, what do you got? Movie or TV show, musical group, book, or sports team?
Yeah, I was thinking about it, and I was going to go with an easy, non-controversial answer because I am a lifelong Star Wars fan. But I have to tell Victor, I'm a Clippers fan. I love the Clips.
Oh, man. You guys can sort it out afterwards. So 2 reasons I wanted to have you guys on to talk about this. One is, just that we have a lot of listeners to this podcast who are actively involved in youth and family services. And this kind of felt like one of those things that could be done anywhere, right? There's child welfare agencies everywhere. There's YMCAs everywhere. So our listeners might appreciate kind of the nuts and bolts of how it came together. And, second, obviously, we're in a pretty unprecedented time of uncertainty when it comes to federal funding for things like human services and community programs. So I kind of wanted to get your guys' thoughts on sort of that backdrop as you did this. So I don't know who to start with, but I'd love to just say, I guess let's start here. Whose idea was this, and from where did this spring into one of your heads?
So we came up with this concept a number of months ago in regards to our commitment in serving youth in Los Angeles and understanding the data through research. The team and I, as well as our volunteers, we understood that with our 28 YMCAs in Los Angeles County, that we could leverage those facilities and programs and services to ensure that every kid within the foster care system between the ages of 12 to 17 will always have a Y experience. And so with that concept, we then looked at, well, who's out there that we should partner with? We've been very blessed and fortunate to secure more than 25 partners, but most importantly, our signature partner is Brandon Nichols and DCFS. We reached out to Brandon, and Brandon immediately responded and said, let's get the teams together and let's figure this out. And within weeks, we figured out the concept in the partnership without overthinking it. And we had a public announcement to make a commitment to young people within the system.
I think you've heard the story now. I have to say, I spend most of my days out there trying to put together partnerships to help families and kids. That's the truth. DCFS, our agency can't do it alone. We need community and we need agencies to help us, help our kids, help our families. Those are not easy deals to make. This is a complicated system. The issues we deal with are emotional and also complex. I feel like I'm often pushing a boulder up a hill trying to put a program together to support kids. It was nothing like that with the YMCA. They contacted us and said, we want to help. And it was the easiest partnership I've ever worked on, maybe. I mean, really, I can't believe the speed that they moved. I can't believe the willingness they had to hear our asks. I can't believe the creativity they came to the table with. They were often saying, can we do more? Can we do more? Which really isn't what I hear all the time, to be honest. I'm always or often in the position of asking folks, please, can you do more? Please, can you do more?
I was gonna say, how often are you getting asked as opposed to asking?
Exactly. Yeah, I feel like I knock on a lot of doors. I like maybe like a car salesman. I'm trying to pitch a deal or get someone to come on board with me. This was just the opposite, and I will say that is a very unusual experience. The Y, like I said, led the way in many ways, and I am so grateful for their commitment. Beyond that, though, I want to say what really impressed me was how much they care about kids. I mean, from Victor showing the leadership all the way down to Y staffers that we met with. And we went out to the facilities, walked around. I just talked to folks, on the side. They really showed me a compassion and commitment that I am not only thankful for, but just so impressed by.
Now, Victor, do you have some sort of underlying support to go out and do this kind of outreach to actually get new members that I'm assuming are at essentially no cost? You're not asking folks to pay for these memberships. So is this, how does the financing such that it exists work for partnering with folks like DCFS?
Yeah, thank you, John. We are the YMCA Metropolitan Los Angeles. We are fully subsidizing this particular effort. It will be upwards to about $1 million first year. And we will continue to look and identify funders and partners to help completely subsidize this for years to come. But organizationally, we are fully committed to this. And our partnership with DCFS, the referral process in which we have created, was really critical for us to really, truly understand the impact that we want to make. And so organizationally, we're committed, but first year, we are completely subsidizing.
So for now, fully subsidized, and the idea is that you'll have a proof of, like a proof of cause or whatever, to kind of go out there later and say, hey, this really worked.
Well, the proof of cause for us right now is that we serve kids and we serve young adults. And so the commitment we are making is complete free access from 12 to 26. And so I would say, John, if you could just imagine a 12-year-old kid within the system coming in to the YMCA and their first experience is participating in our resident camp. This is a kid that has never gone out of the city, the first time up in the mountains, and they're being able to see the stars for the first time. Or it may be someone at 17 years old coming in to the Y for a first time experience, and they're a little anxious in regards to what's going to happen next. Where is going to be their next home? What is consistent in their life? But as soon as they get involved in our volunteerism, our workforce development, they know the one constant thing they'll have up until the age of 26 will be their local Y. And so for us, this is a long-term commitment. We will continue to identify funders, supporters, and partners to help sustain this over time. And so this isn't a one-year project. This is a project that will be embedded within our operation with our new reposition of the Y as the Center for Community Wellbeing.
Got it. So now, Brandon, I'm asking you this from the perspective of try to think of the listeners out there who are now hearing this and saying, man, we could do this in Akron, or we could do this wherever we're at. What sort of I's needed to be dotted and T's needed to be crossed to get a partnership that's a little bit like free flowing, right? It's like an open-ended invitation for any of these kids and young adults to be members of the Y. What do you as a child welfare agency need to kind of like codify or get done to make that work?
Yeah, well, I guess that's exactly the wrong way to start, John. And that would be my advice to the folks listening is don't wring your hands over the T's that need to be crossed and the I's that need to be dotted. Don't worry about all the things that could go wrong. Don't worry about all the bureaucracy that would need to be in place to make something like this happen. You'll get bogged down in it, and it'll be years before you get anywhere. Go in with, a vision of that kid in your mind that's going to have a home at the Y, that's going to be greeted at the front door with a smile and open arms, and just figure it out with good intention partners. Like you will figure it out. We did in record time. Yeah, there's some bureaucracy in the background, but if we had started at the bureaucracy, we wouldn't be here today. We'd still be at a table talking somewhere. We'd still be bringing lawyers in. We'd probably be signing contracts. We'd be, doing legal research. We'd be thinking of all the problems we're going to have. We'd be thinking about liability. That wasn't where we started.
And just start it, yes. We'll do it, and then move.
Start with a blue sky, start with an open heart. And I know that sounds corny, but I really mean it. Just like, what can we do to help kids from both sides of the conversation? That's what got us here.
And that's really kind of where things are going in California as far as policy around supporting youth in foster care, right? I mean, they're kind of from the state down trying to, with this new foster care payment rate and all the things that are kind of coming, they're trying to endorse normal activities a little bit more and make it a little freer for kids to be kids, I would think.
Oh, that's absolutely the trend. I mean, focusing on quality of life and enrichment. I said to Victor and his staff at one of the meetings, our kids are good kids. I mean, they're in a system through no fault of their own. They have all the potential that every other kid has. They have all like the hopes and the wants, desire to belong, desire to give back to the community. We just, we need to provide them the environment that they can grow and thrive in. And I do think the state is showing some leadership in that direction. Helping us get kids to extracurricular activities, helping us do more than just provide them a meal and a roof over their head, but actually like an enjoyable, nurturing, encouraging life. But I will say that this deal with the Y, we're ahead of the state on that. This is going to be even better than I think what the state's thinking right now.
Indeed. Now, Victor, a lot of people have some idea of what you get at the Y. I'm a Y guy. I was a member of the Y in DC when I lived there. I'm a member of the Y in Detroit now. So we all know it as the place for kids to come, go to camp, people to work out, play basketball, play racquetball, all the fun stuff. What other services, though, do Ys provide that you would envision, some level of uptake from some of these young people that will be coming your way?
Thank you, John, and thank you for being a Y member. You understand the true spirit and experience that the Y offers. And that's exactly the goal here, is to open up all of our Ys free of access, and so that every kid can have that same experience. But in addition, here in Los Angeles, we have a number of different programs and services that would be available, whether that be mental health, whether that be food insecurity, whether that be parent caregiver workshops. We also have a number of other programs. We have over 200 program sites throughout the county of Los Angeles, in addition to our 28 facilities that we have. Part of this experience will also include youth sports. It will also include our Youth in Government and Model United Nations program, as well as a robust workforce development program. And so there are a number of experiences and opportunities that all young people with this particular partnership will be able to integrate themselves into just the general YMCA programming.
Brandon, I want to ask you first, and I'll come to Victor on this too, about the context into which this partnership drops, because as we're talking and as many other media entities and ourselves have covered at length here in the last couple of weeks and months, the Trump administration has used reduction in force to let go, hundreds of employees at the agency that liaisons over, funds and policy around state and local child welfare services, around community services. And we have seen some federal grants already frozen, delayed or terminated. I guess first, Brandon, have the major changes in Washington impacted DCFS directly yet? And, kind of as a corollary, what sort of preparation or proactive steps, can you take as an agency? How are you thinking about this in such an uncertain time?
Yeah, John, there's a lot to unpack there, and I'll try to give you as simple an answer as I can. But the truth is, it's a dynamic situation. Every month, new news or new rumors or new directives come out, and we're trying to digest and plan for them. And then new stuff comes the following month. And so it's hard to know, what the future looks like. My big concern right now, honestly, is the safety net that government provides to families, substance abuse services, counseling services, mental health and behavioral health services, good physical health services. As that safety net, or if that safety net gets dismantled or frayed or weakened in some way, the sad and honest truth is more families are going to wobble and more families are going to stumble into child welfare. So is there an impact today? The answer is no, we're not seeing an impact in our numbers today. Our calls to the hotline have not gone up. The number of kids in foster care, children in foster care, continues to safely decrease on a gentle slope, and we haven't seen that trend reverse. The number of children, and I look very carefully at our safety data. I mean, I literally look at it probably every day. Safety is my number one concern. I will say that I haven't seen a turn in safety. Children of today are as safe as they were a month ago and then 6 months ago, and in fact, a little safer. So the immediate impact has not hit yet, but I forecast to the future, like I said, is services become harder to access as they become more rigid and bureaucratic, as the folks have a hard time getting what they need to be well and be safe and take care of their kids. I do worry that those trends will reverse.
Right. Now, Victor, how about you? You're a very large community nonprofit. I have no idea what your budget is, but I'm sure 28 Ys and LA Metro is pretty pricey to run. Are you guys exposed to federal policies and money decisions, and what have you guys all discussed about this?
Yeah, we are strong advocates for youth, and our main goal is to ensure that we continue to build strong communities, and government does have a role in that. But I think part of our mission plans that we've been able to build out, we've diversified our revenue streams. So yeah, government does play a big role and can create some challenges if decisions are made not to support some of our youth and family services programs that we currently have in place. But we also have strong supporters in philanthropy, strong supporters in community-based organizations, in corporations and businesses. So we have diversified our overall revenue streams. But it is my responsibility as the CEO of the LAY not to be dependent on any single source of revenue, to ensure that we can continue to deliver the mission and our promise to impact kids in a very positive way and to build stronger communities.
If I could just go one more step,
Please. Yeah.
John, Victor prompted something in my mind about this. I mean, the need for local partnerships and the need for community support of families probably is greater than ever as government resources start to become harder to access. So for a long time, I mean, the entirety of the 3 years now I've been here, and even before that, like I said, what I've been doing is trying to build these networks, these partnerships to better support families and to keep them from coming to DCFS in the first place. As government maybe takes a step back or gets restricted in what we can do, the need for community to step in is going to be even greater. And so, again, I just want to thank the Y. I think they are leading the way and probably how we're going to have to work in the next few years.
Last question for you guys. A preface to that, Brandon. How many youth are in foster care right now in Los Angeles ballpark?
So we have about 12,000 kids living outside the homes of their parents right now.
Okay, so there's 12,000. Not all of them will be eligible. This is like 12 to 26 range partnership that you guys have, but then there'll be older youth who are out of foster care, I guess, that are eligible for this. My question is this, Brandon, you know this well. There's lots of things that youth in the system are eligible for that they may not necessarily know. I don't know how many times it's one of the worst things I ever hear about is I didn't even know that there was a college tuition scholarship I could have gotten, right?
Yeah.
And stuff like that. What is your guys' strategy for making sure all 12,000 or the thousands of youth in foster care who could take advantage of this are going to know that it's there for them?
Yeah. Well, I'll start from our side. First is an admission. You're right, John. We don't do a great job necessarily communicating to youth and their families what's available to them. And that is something I'm working on. And part of it is we live in the past to some degree here at DCFS. You know, government moves slowly, and our level of sophistication probably is 10 years or 5 years at least behind modern companies. I'm focused on that. I'm trying to get more of social media presence, better communication, better ways to access like electronic platforms. So I want to start with that confession. But beyond that, every kid in our system has a social worker, and we're going to make sure that those social workers know about this program so that they can have conversations with their youth individually. We're also, as you would expect, preparing informational materials and putting things on social media so that just in general, it is out there in the community. I will say again that the Y has been a leader around this. They have excellent media capabilities. They have produced some very nice looking materials that are easy to access. And so honestly, we'll be lifting some of what they're putting together and distributing it within our system through our channels.
Brandon Nichols, Los Angeles County Department of Children and Families. Victor Dominguez, CEO of the YMCA of Metropolitan, Los Angeles. Thank you guys for joining us on the Imprint Weekly Podcast.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Thanks to Brandon Nichols, Director of the Los Angeles County Department of Children and Family Services, and Victor Dominguez, CEO of the YMCA of Metropolitan Los Angeles, for joining us today. Thank you to SpeakRight for sponsoring this episode. The Imprint Weekly Podcast is a production of the Safe Camp Audio Network, which is a division of Fostering Media Connections. Please visit safecampaudio.org on the web or at SafeCampAudio on all major social media. This podcast is produced and mixed by Christine Anjoko with music by Luke Giroux and Cyrus Elia. If you enjoyed this episode, we would love it if you would consider subscribing or giving us a 5-star rating on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you download your podcasts. And we'd really appreciate if you would consider supporting our work here on the podcast and in print. Small donations from our listeners and readers go a long way towards helping us grow and cover more great stories in child welfare and youth justice. To support us, it is super easy. Just visit imprintnews.org/donate. You can follow The Imprint on Twitter and Facebook by searching the handle @TheImprintNews and visit us on the web at imprintnews.org. You can always get us over email at tips@imprintnews.org. I'm John Kelly, and we'll see you next week.